break, a great long weekend that was blissfully extra long with our snow day today. So it's nice to see everybody, and we are off to the races with 1 week to go until midterms. So no easing back into the new year at Bronxville High School. We have a few items to discuss tonight, and the first person up to give a report is our superintendent, Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Emily. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a relaxing, rejuvenating 2 weeks. I know the faculty did, and yet it was so nice to welcome everyone back on the 8th. We have a board meeting coming up this Thursday, the 18th, and as you know, that's streamed live on our YouTube station. There are a couple of things that the board is going to be considering Thursday. One is the calendar for the 24-25 school year. This is the time of year when we present a draft to the board and to the community. Leadership team has been looking at that, and it looks like it'll be very similar to this year's calendar. I just need to negotiate the superintendent's conference days being before the start of school, which will allow us time during the school year for professional development and the longer break at winter. So that's all underway. It's also the time of year where we're really rolling up our sleeves and starting on the budget building process for next year. We are quite a few $100,000 away from the tax cap, and it's very important to us that we meet that tax cap. And so one of the things the board will be considering Thursday night is a retirement incentive for faculty. We only offer that, once every so often when we really need to fiscally, and it will allow for a cost savings. And inevitably, that's a double-edged sword, right? These are faculty that are considering retiring this year or next year. The incentive may help them retire, at the end of this year. And as I say, a double-edged sword, because inevitably we're going to lose some legends. And yet we're confident there's a deep pool of candidates out there. And as I said, it will help us with next year's budget. So stay tuned for that. More on that. Again, that's something that the board will consider at Thursday night's board meeting. And if they do approve that, the deadline for faculty will be February 1st. So that will help us in building next year's budget. Let's see. Our outdoor classroom is practically done. We're just waiting on the materials for the benches, and then it will be done. And we, again, thank the PTA and the foundation for allowing us to do this. And then we'll add some shrubbery landscaping in the spring. And we'll get it in good use come the spring, and we'll contemplate whether or not we should move forward with funding a second one. I say you're welcome to all of those that were pleased with today's snow days, and I say I'm sorry to those of you that weren't. As you can imagine, not an easy decision to be making, lots of variables that have to go into that decision, mainly that both students and faculty and staff can arrive safely. So thank you for understanding that that's one of many complex decisions we're charged to make. And I hope it worked out well for all of you. That's all I've got.
Thank you so much. My kids were super excited this morning when they woke up, and they would say thank you to you. Next up, I have Erin Kind from the counseling department.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. I too was also pleasantly surprised when I woke up this morning, so thank you. It's been busy in the counseling office. We just finished up our junior workshops in December. A recap of that went out earlier this week. We ran 3 sessions. We introduced the students to Maya Learning. We also had them do mock admissions committees. which I thought was a lot of fun. And I think the students really got a kick out of reading some sample applications and getting an understanding of what admissions counselors are looking for. And then finally, we had them do somewhat of a like college fit workshop where we gave some criteria about a school and had them read it and sort of talk about whether or not it'd be a good fit for them without knowing what campus they're speaking of. Really just getting the juniors to start beginning to think about, the planning process and the college application experience. As we turn the page to January, we are starting to meet with the juniors about course selection. An appointment date and time went out, I believe it was last week, and those meetings start this week. We had teachers in the auditorium speak to all the juniors about the courses that are being offered for senior year. We will do a somewhat similar session for parents. I believe it's at the next council meeting. Myself, Anne, and potentially another counselor or two will talk to you about the courses being available for sophomores and for 9th graders. And then those meetings will start in February and March. We are also beginning to schedule CSE meetings. So we start with seniors and work our way down. So please encourage your child to attend that meeting if they have one. It's great to have their input on how the year has gone. And oftentimes your child's counselor will be there to talk about course selection for next year. I think that's it for now. I know Tim and Lauren Keschner are high school psychologists and 9th grade counselor, in addition to 5th grade counselor on the call. They're going to talk to you about some of the great work that they're doing with the 9th graders to prepare for the upcoming midterms. It's nice to see everybody.
That's a great segue. I'm going to let Tim Nelson and Lauren Keschner take it. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. And I'm Tim Nelson. Thank you so much for having us on here tonight. Lauren, do you want to say hi?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Keschner, and I'm the new high school psychologist. Thank you for having Tim and I here tonight.
Just real quick, am I able to share my screen?
I
We
can
have, like-
definitely, I can make that happen.
Okay. We have just wanted to show you a couple quick things related to what we're doing with the 9th grade right now.
Go ahead. You should be able to.
Okay, so I started out, and Lauren and I have been entering the 9th grade health classes this past cycle. And we've heard a lot from students, not just parents, not just teachers, about the upcoming midterms, and really just hearing from kids that they really, by 9th grade, are not prepared for midterms. They don't know how to study, and they're really looking for strategies and ways to prepare for their first real set of midterm exams in high school. So what Lauren and I have been doing is visiting the 9th grade health classes, and we've been doing a 2-part series. The first part is what we call the midterm crash course in study skills. And then part 2 has to do more with the self-care around midterms and the anxious feelings that sometimes come along with that, and just sort of how to make it through their midterms in a healthy way. So I'm just going to show you a couple quick slides and just show you kind of what we're doing with the freshmen. Let's see, I have a spinning thing here. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. Okay. Are you seeing that?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. It's funny because the technology only works. Yeah, it says my screen sharing is paused. That's okay. I'm going to...
You could probably do it without the slides.
Tim, I can also try. Do you want me to try?
If you don't mind, I think I'm also frozen.
Of course. Okay. Oop. Okay. Okay, can we see this?
Yep,
And can we see that?
it's loading.
Okay. No.
I don't know why.
Okay, we can
But
get
you
rid of
guys can just go
Oh.
over it without the slides.
It must be the snow on the ground.
There you go.
Anyway, so the first part, the study skills crash course, is really to give students some background in what they call active studying, and so those are things, and this is part of our presentation that sort of help students engage with the material. A lot of students will reread their notes. They will sort of do some things that they think they should be doing, just rereading text. But the idea is that those types of things only sort of allow you to recall them to a certain degree. And so by engaging with them, by talking through them in greater depth, by doing study groups, all sorts of different ways, helps students to sort of engage with the material at a higher level. So we go through some of those different concepts. We present to them what we call a menu of study strategies, which has, I think, about 30 different study strategies that they could try. And then what we do from there is we have students actually make their own midterm calendar. And so they sort of input the dates and the times and the locations of all their midterms. And from there, it just sort of allows them to do some planning. We call it sort of like backwards planning, where you sort of hit your days and your times for your exams, and then you sort of plan the weeks before that, in terms of what study strategies they're going to use, when they're going to use them, and hopefully give them some new ideas, maybe some things they haven't tried before. But we really wanted to load them up with really tangible things that they could try, and I think a lot of kids left with a pretty solid, at least, from what we saw, what they did in class was a really good handle on just organizing their time over the course of the next few weeks. And then Lauren, do you want to talk a little bit about the self-care piece?
Of course. The second lesson that Tim and I taught to the 9th grade students was about how to appropriately manage stress surrounding midterms. We explained to the students that some stress during this midterm time is normal, and short-term stress can increase alertness, motivation, and performance. However, for some students, the stress becomes so overwhelming and strong that it can reduce concentration and decrease performance. So as a class, we went through different strategies that all the students can use to reduce the stress that they may be feeling at this time. We discussed the importance of using time management techniques, which they were exposed to in our first lesson, breaking up and chunking their studying, eating a well-balanced meal, and getting a good night's sleep before an exam. We also discussed in the moment strategies the students can use to manage their worries while taking a test, such as DBT mindfulness techniques and positive self-talk. And then the students learn that after a test, it's important to set realistic expectations for themselves and use each test as a learning experience through a growth mindset. Finally, the students talked about the importance of taking care of their emotional and physical health. And we explored different self-care techniques, such as exercising and staying connected to their friends. The students had an opportunity to fill out their own worksheet to identify which strategies would be helpful for them to use during the midterm week. So the hope is that the students can apply these stress management techniques during midterm week, and then, of course, generalize these skills to other areas of their day as well, such as using these strategies during sports and or performances, etc. So I would say overall, we had a very good response from our students while teaching these 2 lessons, and we're optimistic that they took away some helpful tips and tricks to help them be successful this upcoming week.
Thank you. I can't wait to see the slides. That's so helpful. Kind of wish I had a 9th grader right now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I see Joe Haven on there. I'd love to hear what's going on in athletics. I know it's busy.
Happy New Year. Athletics is not excited we have snow days because now we have to make up all these games. So, and we miss a lot of practices. So we're not that excited when it happens. Thank you, Rachel. Anyways, we are right in the middle of the season. Just most teams have completed about half, 60% of their seasons. Currently, every team would be in the process of qualifying for playoffs. Once again, our track teams are killing it. Hockey is doing very well. Basketballs are competitive, so we're we're in a good spot. I know that the kids who are playing squash are doing very well. So right now we're in a pretty good spot. Unfortunately, ski has once again really taken a turn because we have to take a day off when there's ski, when there's snow. But ski is really struggling. But Coach Agnello is really trying to do the best for those kids. And we've gone indoors a couple of times to the facility right outside Giant Stadium and Jet Stadium. So we're trying to give them some opportunity to ski, but really we've been struggling with that sport. Besides that, all the teams will have their team photo day on the 22nd coming up next week. So we'll be emailing the coaches and the kids this week to let them know that next week we'll be doing the team photographs. And believe it or not, we are less than a month away from Family ID opening for the spring season. It goes quickly. So about February 11th or 12th, we'll open up Family ID to get kids prepared for our spring season. I will say the health office and Danielle did an amazing job this last year. So far, the first 2 seasons getting kids cleared. So as long as the kids sign up early, we get them cleared and we don't have a huge holdup for the children, to try out the first couple of days. As people know, we start before our spring break, and that does run into the Easter and the spring break week. We don't play many games, but traditionally lacrosse will have a game or 2 during that time. Boys and girls both, the varsity levels, and then baseball is going south, so they'll play during that time. I don't think any other teams are playing during that time until we come back from that break. Then we'll get it going full go. But what that does obviously condenses the opportunities, and if we don't play during that time, what that does is there are weeks we're going to play 3 and 4 games on a week to make up for it. And in teams that are physical, sports that are physical with contact and collision, it's tough playing 3 and 4 games in a week. So that's why we have to get a game in that week just to ensure that the kids' health and safety are checked into. Besides that, all's going well. I will say, the big event that the athletic council puts on, the parents and the kids, is the Wizards, and that's March 3rd. So I'm sure information will be sent out about that quickly, but that is an event that does sell out and is a great fundraiser that supports the athletic program through the athletic council, parents, the PTA. That's wonderful. So people can attend that. That's a great event. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe. So much going on. And it's a busy time of year at the Bronxville School Foundation as well. And I'd love to welcome Alana to give us an update on all those happenings.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, I have a few things to cover with you all tonight. Number one, the foundation is kicking off its 2024 grant cycle. We're so eager to receive requests for grants that would benefit the school in all areas: arts, athletics, health and wellness, or any academic discipline. Any student, parent, teacher, or administrator can apply for a grant. Maybe your child has a great idea. I didn't know this. You could apply for a grant with them as a co-applicant. Student and parent applicants should first speak with school principals because they have some guidance on that. But that could be such a cool way to apply for a grant. The submission deadline is March 1st, and I'll put more information in the chat. Number two, the foundation is accepting nominations to fill open positions on its board of directors. We'd love for you to apply or propose someone else who could be great. Candidates should be village residents who would work to raise funds, consider grant applications, and do other work to support the foundation. Parents of current students and graduates and alumni are encouraged to apply. The directors reflect a broad and diverse cross-section of the community, and I can tell you I'm on the board this year as a PTA rep, and it's such a rewarding experience. Last, the community drive is ongoing and the most critical source of funding that makes our whole grants program possible. Thank you so much if you've already made a donation. And if you're still considering one of any size, it's not too late. I'm going to put all the information you need in the chat. And thanks so much.
Thanks, Alana. I think I am up. I'm just going to give kind of a quick update from all of the different councils who have been very busy. Last week, there was an event every single night. Bold kicked it off. They had a meeting about college preparation from transitioning from high school to college if you have a 504 or an IEP. And actually, I think, Aaron, that was recorded, right? So people can go find it on the website.
Yes, that was recorded. It should be on our YouTube channel. And then I know I have the link, and Leah Gravier and Neve Hartnett also have the link. So if anybody's curious about that, you can reach out to any of the above.
And they had 3 students, former
Yeah.
students of Bronxville on, and
Yeah.
that was so helpful to hear their perspectives as well and their real life experience in this process too.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, it looks like also Deidre said they're going to send out the link to that as well.
Cool. Also, the Arts Council had an amazing event last week. It was a career in the arts panel with parents, and there were some alumni on the panel. The kids asked amazing questions. Lisa Bodell was an amazing moderator, and the Arts Council recruited some seriously talented parents and alumni speakers. So it was a great night. It was standing room only. So kudos to them for pulling that event off. And I hope it's the first of many. Also, congratulations to all the students who performed in December. There were concerts, there was an open mic night, and there's more performances coming up. The High School Musical is coming up in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, there are the spring events that they are already working on, the Spring into the Arts events. And then they also have their, I forget what they call their stuff right before Memorial Day. But it's always really fun and includes open mics and the art show in conjunction with the art faculty as well. Be Well hosted a book club. They're hosting another coffee this coming Thursday. And I've also heard rumors from students that there is potentially a volleyball tournament coming for the students later this month. I don't know if that has come to fruition or if it's organized yet, but I'm sure your student knows more than I do about that. There's a Lego drive. So for all of us high school parents who still have Lego sculptures sitting around their house, I know I have some that are lovely and some that are not lovely. You can donate your Legos to the school, who will use them as either donations to people that need them, and also Lego will take those back as well. We are also, it's hard to believe, we're already talking about the end of the year. From the academic side, I know Anne and Aaron and their teams are working hard on course selection planning, and you've heard a little bit about that. I know Anne will follow up with more information about that when she speaks. But there was an email out to the senior class parents today with a ton of information about end of year for senior planning. Prom's coming up on May 17th, and the juniors and seniors are working on that. And I see Jen Heathwood and Hillary Blumenreich on, and I know they have a lot more information than I do about end of year. So I would love for them just to give a quick update.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to touch quickly, briefly on the senior class stuff. As Emily just mentioned, an email went out this morning at 8 a.m. from Ann Myers, just updating all the senior class parents of all of the upcoming events that will take place from now through the end of the year or through graduation. I'm not going to go over everything because it's going to be redundant, but several people have reached out to me just briefly about the senior faculty appreciation lunch, which surprised me a little bit, but it has just been a tradition that the seniors do over February or Valentine's Day, basically, or around February 14th, that they just have a catered meal in the multipurpose room. And we just do a nice sit down with all the faculty members and the seniors It's kind of just a nice way to commemorate the occasion and just kind of a time for everyone just kind of spend some time together. It's a very nice bonding experience that I think, Rachel, I see you smiling. Maybe you guys can speak to it. But anyway, the parents do not get involved with that. And it's just, like I said, a catered event. But for those who don't know about it, that's kind of a little debriefer. But the thing that's more important is the upcoming event at the end of the month, end of February. Like Jen and I will be speaking out with Ann Meyer. That's most important, that we will be going over all the end of the year events and the graduation details. And that is critical to be at. And that is just for the senior parents. It's not necessary for the kids to attend. That's also been asked of me. And so, no, it's just for the senior parents. And one more thing, it's important, please, I know Emily's touched on this, for the senior parents, please try to sign up on membership toolkit because it's critical to get tickets. If you want tickets for the mom prom and pop pop, and even the graduation dinner, you're only going to get this invitations and only going to be able to buy tickets if you have, you're going to get the invitations if you're on membership toolkit. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get the tickets. So please, just look again, you may think you're on it. You may be, you may not be, but so just please eyeball it once again. Thank you. And Jen, you can talk about graduation.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so I don't know if Hillary said the date for that senior meeting. It's in the email, but it's Wednesday, I believe, February 28th. And it'll be in the evening. And that's where we're going to go over all the important details for end of year. So this year, I'm the graduation chair with Carrie Donahue, and graduation is 5 months away. Saturday, June 15th at 6:30 p.m. Make sure you have that in your calendar. I just wanted to hit a couple highlights just to get your head around things. And then obviously we'll go over in more detail in February. But if you have a daughter and you haven't ordered your dress yet, as I'm sure you know, they wear a long white dress. There was some information sent out for a store called A Little Something White in Darien, which offers dresses, or you can get dresses from anywhere you'd like. But I just want to get that on your radar that you should have ordered it or be ordering it soon. And then tuxes, the boys have it a little easier. They'll get information will come out in the spring for that. There's also formal photos earlier in the day on graduation day. So if you're thinking you want a formal photo, that is an option through the PTA that you can go ahead and do. And again, information will come out on that. And then something else to kind of get your head around is that there is a post-graduation dinner organized by PTA members. It's actually Cece Hardy and Isabel Ingersoll who are heading up that committee this year, and that is at Siwanoy. It's meant to be all inclusive, but it is first come, first serve. The only way to get tickets is through membership toolkit. Make sure you're on there, and if you notice any of your friends are not on there, please give them a heads up. Like I said, it's at Siwanoy, and it's tables up to 10. So just start thinking, is this something you're interested in and you want to do, or are you going to do something on your own? And again, just to get your head around this, even though it's 5 months away, there are a lot of details and they'll be coming at you quick as it gets a little closer. And any questions about the dresses or otherwise, please feel free to reach out to me or Carrie at any time. Thank you.
Jen, can I make one point? Deirdre Dehaney just made a good point. To register for membership toolkit, you do not have to be a PTA member. So there you go.
Also, I see a note from somebody asking about yearbooks. I'm just looking back in emails from last year, and I think that the yearbook started to go on sale around this time last year. I don't know the firm answer on that. Anne, do you?
Well, I put in the chat the link. It's on the high school webpage.
Okay, great.
I don't remember when I send info out about that, but I'll try to check.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that is it from my end. And did I miss anyone who needs to give an update or a council report? Okay, it's all you, Anne. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Emily. Happy New Year again, everyone. Welcome back. It felt like a long time, and now we jumped right back into things. So the quarter is ending at the end of next week, and we have midterms next week, Tuesday through Friday. As Lauren and Tim mentioned, they've spent some time with our 9th graders, but everyone else in the school has really only done this once because of COVID. So I had to remind some seniors how midterms work last week. And for all of you that may not know, students only come in for the exams during midterms. And if they don't have an exam or if they're done for the day, they leave. So it's very important that students know their midterm schedule. I am not asking you to draft their midterm schedule, but maybe encourage your child to put together their schedule for next week. It sounds like our 9th graders have already done that, which is wonderful. It is a little bit busy right now, and teachers are trying to finish up the quarter, and then we're going right into midterms. Today was a nice snow day, but it was also a day when some tests were going to happen that probably are getting rescheduled right now, which might cause a little bit more stress leading into midterms than we would have had if we had school today. But hopefully everyone's well rested after a 4-day weekend. So in terms of, it's crazy every year that we start scheduling for the following year before we even hit the midway point of the school year, but that is what we have to do. And so as Erin said, we're already starting to meet with our juniors. We had them together for a meeting on Friday to go over the course offerings. We specifically focused on AP courses and the rigor and workload associated with those to help our seniors make good choices for their course load next year. And as one of the AP teachers said, applying to college's first quarter is like another course. So students should kind of include that in their planning. If you're the parent of a junior, this is the conversation you'll be having with your child and with your child's guidance counselor as you make some decisions. This year, we're doing things a little bit differently for our current sophomores and freshmen. Erin and I are going to be hosting meetings separately for each of those groups at night, and we're inviting the students to attend with their parents, and we will go over the course options for next year that are specific to each of those grades, and try to discuss a little bit about how to create a balanced schedule that is reasonable for your child in terms of what they're interested in, as well as workload. I've mentioned this a few times, and I think I'm going to mention it on and on many times, but a student's mental health often is very closely associated with their academic schedule. When we find in our meetings as faculty, when we're discussing students we're worried about, the first thing we look at is what classes they're taking. So developing a manageable schedule for your child that challenges your child, but also is not totally overwhelming is very important. And we're just going to try to help provide some guidance to parents so that you can work with your child to make good choices. So that information will go out specifically to those grade levels as we get closer to the meetings. The meeting with our current sophomore parents will be at the beginning of February. The meeting with our current freshman parents will be at the beginning of March. And those meetings will happen before you start meeting with the guidance counselor. We're going to try to conclude all of the course selection meetings by end of March, mid-April, so that we can so that I can build the master schedule. That schedule is built based on requests every year. So it's a different schedule based on what students are choosing to take. We do have a couple of new courses that I'm just going to mention briefly. We are offering 2 new semester-long science electives next year. One is called Oceans, and it's really going to be about studying various aspects of the ocean, including ocean chemistry, climate change and its impact on the oceans, ocean ecology, marine biology. That's a semester elective. We're offering an anatomy and physiology semester elective. That is what you would expect it to be and what we mentioned to our juniors. is that there will be dissections in that class. So if you're not someone who's interested in dissecting things, do not take that class. And then finally, for our seniors, we are changing the AP Social Studies offering. We currently offer AP Microeconomics and AP Macroeconomics to our seniors. Next year, we're going to offer AP Macroeconomics and AP American Government and Politics. So it's the same number of courses. It's just 2 semester courses that are offered, but it's not going to be 2 econs. We're going to do 1 econ and 1 poli-sci. What's different for our seniors next year is they could take one or the other or both. They don't have to take both. Right now, our students are enrolled in AP Econs. They take both micro and macro. Next year, they could take AP Macro and regular political science. They could take AP Government and Politics and regular Econ, or they could take both AP Macro and AP Government and Politics. So that's for our parents of juniors. Your children were, this was all explained to them last week on Friday, and you can talk to the guidance counselor if you have any questions. Just a couple of small shifts for next year in our course offerings. So that's all that I have right now. We're almost halfway through the year, which is crazy. And everyone has mentioned some of the things that are coming up, but we have a high school council meeting in February. So I think I'll hold off in talking about those until we get to that meeting. And I'm happy to take any questions.
All right. I don't see any questions. So thank you everyone for participating tonight and for logging in and listening. And I hope we get better weather ahead of us and that everyone enjoyed the long weekend, and I'll see you around school. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great night.